So I'm sure we all know about the huge Skywalk update that was released just a few days ago. Obviously, it had its issues, but they've been mainly sorted out now. The changelog for this update is absolutely humongous, which means there's surely got to be some things that you missed, and that I've missed too, definitely. I mean, I'm still going. Look how many changes there are. It's insane. And for that reason, I think it might be a good idea if we just take a look at some of the changes that you might have missed from the craziness that happened. First of all, this is a really important one, and I feel like it's gone a little bit under the radar. Okay, so obviously from the community shop, you can buy a god potion. People who don't use a god potion are basically missing out, let's be honest. A god potion gives you a ton of different effects that just make you overall a lot stronger in the game. You gain XP quicker, and so on. But of course, it's a potion. Still a potion. Which means prior to this update, if you died and you didn't have a booster cookie active with a god potion, you would lose the god potion. Of course, the cookie made it so you didn't actually lose those effects on death. However, if that's the only reason why you had a cookie, you don't need a cookie anymore. This change right here, under miscellaneous equipment change, potion effects are no longer removed on death. Which is as simple as it seems. Okay, so I'm on a profile that I don't use. I'm going to go ahead and buy a god potion. And just to make this clear, I don't have a cookie active. I actually already have a god potion active, so I guess we can take a look anyway. Okay, and I'm trying to get killed by something in the end, because turns out I don't even have the... there we go. Anyway, died. Yeah, we didn't lose the god potion, which is cool. Now, before we go any further, if you are planning on purchasing anything from the Hypixel store, make sure to use code NITROS at checkout. It gets yourself 5% off. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It helps out a lot. You should join the Discord server, it's linked in the description of this video. Now there's actually been a new pickaxe introduced, which is in Lapis Collection, and yeah, I believe it's Lapis Collection 3, which it is. And it's a new pickaxe. Turns out, this Lapis pickaxe is actually worse than a regular diamond pickaxe. It gives you less mining speed, gives you less damage, although it does give you a 25% chance to gain double XP when mining ores. And considering you'd then actually also need an iron pickaxe and 8 stacks of lapis, and a regular diamond pickaxe just requires, well, 3 diamonds and 2 sticks. The same breaking power. Yeah, interesting. I never said all the changes were good, so that one seems really pointless. So you know when you level up a skill, for instance with farming, you get a farming fortune, you get some health, some coins and some Skyblock XP. Well, just take a look at the amount of coins that you actually get from leveling up each time now. It's pretty ridiculous. Past farming 45, every single level gets you 1 million coins, which is quite a nice bonus really, let's be honest. Especially for a skill so free as alchemy, especially when Derpy was on. Honestly, like, this is pretty ridiculous from getting from like alchemy 0 all the way to 50. Yeah, just from getting to Alchemy 50 from 0 gets you just over 17 million coins, which is not bad at all. To be honest, it's about time that something like this was changed, considering the amount of coins that you used to get from leveling up each skill was relative to, I guess, the value of coins back when the skills were introduced. And obviously that's now vastly different. Something interesting is that they changed the requirement to actually craft a grappling hook from string 7 to string 4. That's okay, but now we've got 2 things unlocking at string 4 and nothing unlocking at string 7. Not a big deal, it's just string collection. Honestly, it's not a bad change. The grappling hook is pretty useful, especially at a very early game before you have an aspect at the end, so fair enough. Now, the machine gun bow is now a short bow. I made a video about this yesterday, so if you've not watched it, you should go back and take a look, where I do actually give it a decent comparison to a spirit bow. Of course, this used to just be a regular bow, essentially with a short bow ability, but now it is a fully fledged short bow. Something else they also changed is they made it so the ability also works outside of dungeons. However, yeah, the ability is a little bit pointless considering it's now a short bow. Anyway, I'm not going to talk too much about it. If you want to see more about that, then there is a whole video dedicated to it yesterday. There's a change right here under sacks, added chat notifications for items being added into and removed from sacks. As a new player, it is unintuitive that the items are automatically added to your sacks and sometimes then removed. I don't think that's a bad change at all. You're now able to visually see what's going in and out of your sacks, which makes sense. However, speaking from experience, the chat message does get a little bit annoying. Anyway, something else you can now see is the actual Skyblock achievements in your equipment and stats menu. You can click through the achievements and actually see them all. And then you can see one by one which ones you've done and which ones you haven't. Not something major, but It's just quality of life once again. It's a nice change. Now, there are a few interesting changes in terms of dungeons. All players will now be healed back to full HP when they enter a boss portal in dungeons. And you can now use the Spirit Leap / Infinity Leap in dungeon trap rooms. Thank God for that. If I knew that the other day, I probably wouldn't have taken so many deaths. Embarrassing, I know. They renamed the Spirit Bow, the Dungeons Floor 4 drop, to the Spirit Short Bow, which makes sense because it's a short bow. They did the same with the Machine Gun Bow, which is now the Machine Gun Short Bow. And obviously you have the Juju Short Bow. You'd have the Terminator Short Bow, but that would just be very weird if they actually did change it to that. All in all, it was just kind of a case of tidying up the game, making it run smoother, making things easier, making life easier, quality of life improvements. Obviously, there were some major changes that I've really already talked about when the update first came out, in terms of things like the armadillo pet being absolutely killed, which has now completely and utterly ruined armadillo mining. The elephant pet and the mushroom cow being nerfed, which, you know, hasn't really changed a massive amount. And then you've got things like when powder mining, you don't have to look at the chest. You don't have to look at all the 5 ticks on the chest. If you have your tree fully upgraded, you can just look at it once, which is insanely good, which makes powder mining way less painful and much quicker. Of course, there were some pretty major issues that I've already talked about in terms of the wipes and all of that, but all now seems to be under control. Now, I just thought it'd be interesting because of the sheer volume of changes. Like, there are so many changes. A lot of them are bound to have gone sort of unnoticed or just under the radar, so I thought it'd be interesting to talk about those changes in today's video. Now, it goes without saying that probably the main aspects of the game that has been changed by these sort of chain of updates is probably mining. Powder grinding is substantially easier. They've actually changed the time it takes to mine some gemstones. Basically, obviously, you know how you have the actual glass blocks and the panes? Well, they now are sort of even in terms of how long they take to mine. Of course, the armadillo pet is, yeah, it's quite something now. It's not really that usable. And obviously armadillo mining was a huge part of mining itself. So, I don't know, I think it'd just be interesting to think what you guys' takes are on all of these changes to mining, whether it's for the better or for the worse. Of course, even the Mines of Devan regenerates every 5 minutes. Like, for me, I think that's a really cool change, because I just think it's a bit much to have to find a different lobby for it to reset. I don't know. But yeah, definitely an interesting one. Let me know in the comments if some of the changes that I've talked about you weren't aware of or surprise you. But anyway, if you did enjoy today's video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.